Hi guys, it's MGS Warrior 2 and I have a Pokemon Online battle with FlyMolo. I led off with my Fortress, he led off with his Infernape. Definitely didn't like that matchup, so I switched into my Jellicent to take the overheat from this Life Orb Infernape. As it took some recoil damage, he switched into his Gastrodon like I predicted, and that's why I went for the Toxic, and that was a nice play. So, thinking he would go for Toxic as well, I switched into my Reuniclus, who can take any status ailment because of his ability Magic Guard. So he switched out into his Gengar, who is obviously a good matchup against Reuniclus because Reuniclus is weak against Ghost, but I set up a Calm Mind, and his Gengar set up a Substitute. I break his sub with a Psy-Shock. I believe it's a sub-disable Gengar, and right on cue he used Disable to disable my Reuniclus' Psy-Shock, and his Gengar set up another sub. I decided to set up another Calm Mind so that I can be able to take Shadow Ball a little better. He went for the Shadow Ball. It still dealt 41% of damage, so I decided I don't have enough Calm Minds up, so I had to get up a third Calm Mind. But he Shadow Balled me again, and it still did a lot, and I decided I had to recover health back. So he goes for another Shadow Ball, and I set up another Calm Mind. I probably should have recovered again. But in any event, his Gengar finished off my Reuniclus. And that was probably a bad play on my part to try to keep on sponging those Shadow Balls, knowing that I'm weak against it. So Gengar tried to hit Focus Blast and missed. I broke his Gengar sub with a Crunch. So I was quite fortunate to avoid being hit by Focus Blast. But I didn't want to test my luck again, so I switched into my Jellicent, as he went for the Disable and obviously failed because I switched. So his Gengar set up a sub again, and I decided to break its sub with a super effective and stab Shadow Ball. I don't want this Gengar to start sub-disabling me again. But he still went for the Disable, disabling my Shadow Ball. I go for the Scald. I was predicting he'd probably go for Disable. So he switched out his sub-disable Gengar, goes back into his Gastrodon. And that was a nice prediction on his part because Gastrodon soaks up that Scald with its Storm Drain, raising its special attack stat. So I switched into my Tyranitar. Because, I don't know why, but I was hoping Tyranitar was going to take that Earth Power a little bit better. So Gastrodon went for the Earth Power as I switched into my Terrakion, but my Terrakion is holding a balloon. So now my Terrakion goes for the close combat. I hit his Ferrothorn for super effective damage. I almost took it out in one hit. Now his Ferrothorn is protecting. I guess he is scouting what my Terrakion will do next. So he switches out, goes into his Gengar, predicting that I would go for another close combat. But I kind of had a feeling he would switch out, so I set up a sub, and now his Gengar sets up a sub as well. I break his sub with a Stone Edge, and thanks to the Sandstorm raging, it finishes off his Gengar. He switched into his Gastrodon here, and I know that it can die to a close combat, so obviously I went for it, and down goes his Gastrodon. So he sends out his Donphan now, and Ice Shards my Terrakion sub and breaks it, as I went for a Swords Dance, but I obviously don't want to take an Earthquake, so I switched into my Jellicent to take the Ice Shard. So now he switched into his Chansey, which is probably Eviolite. And I went for the Scald on it when he switched it in, and it got burned, which isn't too bad. But Chansey does have Natural Cure. So his Chansey went for the Toxic. I switched into my Tyranitar. Unfortunately, my Tyranitar took the Toxic, which isn't too good because he's not going to last too much longer in this battle. So this Chansey is Toxic stalling me with Protect as I tried to go for Superpower. So now I switched out into my Scarf Flygon as his Chansey soft boils up, recovering a lot of health. So I decided to go for a U-turn, and I U-turned out into my Fortress. But his Chansey has aromatherapy, and that cured Chansey's burn, and it went for a soft boiled. So I just wanted to set up spikes. I don't know what else to do in this situation here. And it's also good to get these spikes up because knowing how long this battle has been going on so far, it's always good to have hazards up. So I go for Volt Switch. I Volt Switch out of that Ferrothorn as Ferrothorn went for the Leech Seed, and now my Tyranitar was seeded. So I recalled my Tyranitar, go back into my Fortress. As Fortress's Protect failed, I set up a third layer of spikes, and now for his Ferrothorn also set up hazards, Stealth Rocks. So I go for the Hidden Power, which I believe was Ice. I think I was predicting a switch. So I use Rapid Spin to spin away this Leech Seed and Stealth Rock. And his Ferrothorn went for the Gyro Ball. I guess he predicted a switch as well. So now I switch out into my Tyranitar. And I think he predicted that. So my Tyranitar goes down to that super effective Gyro Ball. So Ferrothorn is scouting again. Unfortunately, it scouted on the wrong move as I set up a sub. So here he switches out into his Infernape as it took some spikes damage. I set up a Swords Dance here as his Infernape broke my sub with close combat. But with a +2 attack stat, my Terrakion is ready to sweep. I go for Stone Edge, and that takes down Infernape. So here comes the Donphan. It went for the Ice Shard, but I go for a close combat here. And after that Swords Dance, it was enough with a close combat to finish Donphan, who is very physically bulky. And I also took out his Ferrothorn with another close combat. That was super effective, but unfortunately, due to Iron Barbs, my Terrakion goes down. And now all that's left is a Chansey. So I decided to go for an Outrage here. Chansey Toxics my Flygon, hoping to kill it with toxic damage. So Chansey protects here, trying to stall out my Outrages, and that strategy did work because Flygon got confused. But fortunately, I was able to hit through the confusion and finish off that Chansey and win the game. So that was a good game, FlyMolo. Alright guys, thank you all for watching my Pokemon Online battle. Comment, like, sub, and see you guys next time.